Hey folks, welcome back to what should be the last video in the series. We are more than halfway to Vancouver, and pretty soon air traffic control is going to give us our approach. Of course, we planned for an approach, but that approach may not happen, so we have to be prepared to have another one. A couple of housekeeping things from before. We need to turn our auto brakes from RTO to off. And actually, at this point, I'm going to turn them to 1, 2, and 3 in anticipation of arrival. I'm also going to go to our CDU and prepare for arrival. Descent. Okay, is it the Canuck 5 we're supposed to be using? Let's verify that. Duxum 5 should be our, Duxum 5 should be our, Duxum 5 is our arrival on 26 left. Okay, that is correct. ILS frequency should be 110.7 at a course of 263. ILX frequency at 110.7 on both the pilot flying and not flying sides. 110.7, and the course should be 263. There we go. I'm reminded that I hadn't taken a good look outside since we took off, so let's have a look. Boy, this is gorgeous, isn't it? While you were gone, we were flying over the peaks of these mountains. We're at 14,000 feet. Some of these peaks reach to 11,000 feet, so there wasn't a whole lot of ground clearance, and it certainly was very beautiful to witness. I'm going to keep the first officer's side at 10-mile range. We're out here to 40-mile range. $90 miles from basically Victoria, Canada. As I said, Victoria is just across a waterway from Vancouver, So we're just a little more than 100 miles out from top of descent, and we should be getting our landing instructions here pretty soon. Vancouver Center, Alaska 4-3. Vancouver Center, Alaska 4-3. Vancouver Center, Alaska 4-3 is with you. Let's flip over to the other frequency. Vancouver Center, Alaska 4-3.
Alaska Force. Contact center on 132.9.
Contact center on 132.9 Alaska 43. Center Alaska 43 at 14,000 feet.
Just wanted to make sure that center knew that we were here. Didn't really want to say anything to them. Did not really want to adjust our altitude. I'm mildly surprised we have not gotten our landing instructions yet. Going to turn our range down into the 20 mile on the primary flight display.
Alaska 43 contact Vancouver Center on 125.9 or 5 enjoy.
Center on 125.95 Alaska 43. Center Alaska 43 at 14,000 feet.
Caravan 9 Tango Tango, contact and approach 125.05. See ya.
Even though we are above 10,000 feet and we're certainly legal to fly at 403 knots ground speed and 396 knots true airspeed as it's here in our display. I'm going to go ahead and slow us down to 250 knots. That'll make our turn onto Duxham. Duxham is the start of our procedure. So it's a pretty sharp 90-degree turn, and that lower speed will help us make that turn a little bit more accurately. And if we get a vector before YYJ, that would be good too. I don't mind vectors to the approach. You can see we're all set up for our landing. The altitude at Vancouver is 13 or 15 feet above sea level, so I'm going to set our decision height at 215, 213.
Alaska 4 we expect the Duxum 5 arrival with the Duxum precision 4 days approach to runway 26 left at Vancouver International. After it clear direct Duxum.
Expect the Duxum 5 arrival with the Duxum transition for the ILS approach to runway 26 left after year cleared direct Duxum Alaska 43.
We just got our procedure.
Alaska 4 we contact Vancouver approach on 134.22. Have a good afternoon.
Approach on 134.22 Alaska 43.
Elevation is 13 feet, so decision height is set at 213. You can see the barrel reference right there.
Approach Alaska 43 at 14,000 feet.
Set our landing altitude to 0. I'm going to go ahead and move our engine switches into the continuous mode. Get all of our lights on. After we turn at YYJ, we are going to immediately be descending. 35 feet from YYJ. Let's go ahead and slow down. Speed switches aren't working. I wonder why. Don't really want to leave VNAV. Maybe that's why, because we're in VNAV. Okay, well, I'll stay fast. I didn't really want to, but I'll stay fast. I think I ought to be able to slow down. Go into 10-mile range. quartering tailwind from the right, 30 knots, 254 degrees.
Quarter 415, reduce your speed to 19, 0 knots or less. We'll do 190 or less, quarter 415.
I'm going to go ahead and verify our landing configuration. Flaps 40, reference speed is 135, right there. And then it's also is right here on the reference. So decision height at 213, flaps 40 at 135 for landing. We don't yet have, oh, we do have, we're getting telemetry. We're getting radio reception on our ILS. I'm going to bring our altitude selector down to 2,000 feet. I don't know what we're going to be cleared to, but again, I don't know what we're going to be cleared to. Because we're not actually cleared to 2,000, the market is 2,100, and that means that I'd like 2,000, but we're not cleared to 2,000 quite yet. And I'm going to let VNAV, our top-up descent isn't calculated until after YYJ, but VNAV has it calculated before YYJ. So I'm going to go ahead and let the airplane descend according to its internal calculations on VNAV. Remember, this is a 5-mile circle that we set up before takeoff. Okay, you can see vertical right now. We're going to get some graphic here. So here's what I was afraid of. I was afraid we would be moving so fast that this turn, this 90-degree turn, might be a little difficult. There you can see our engine should be kicking down to idle. There's the VNAV graph. We're trying to turn, not a monstrous bank. And then once we're close to 10,000 feet, the computer should drop our speed down to the 250 knot range. And that'll help us turn as well. I do not have an updated altimeter setting. Let's get an ATIS. Let's get an updated ATIS.
Victoria International Information Mike, 1602 Zulu winds R263 at 6 knots. Visibility unrestricted. 3000 few clouds. 8000 few clouds. 25,000 few clouds. Temperature 10. 2.3. Current altimeter is 3016. Arriving and departing runway 27. Victoria.
Okay, we verified our runway is 27. We're coming in on 27 left. We have an updated
Maple 75.
Approach Alaska 43 at 1,500 feet.
14, turn right heading at 140. Right 140, Maple 75, 14.
our intended path along the ground has this funky couple of turns to it. See these funky turns? So I'm imagining we're going to get radar vectors here. To put us on an extended final. Here comes 10,000 feet. You can see we're starting to level off. And the FMC will reduce our speed to 250 knots, hopefully before we get to 10,000 feet. I'm going to help out the FMC by going to our next waypoint. And after PEMSU, we should receive vectors. If we're not vectored by PEMSU, I'll go ahead and move saved, which is the first waypoint on the approach. Left. 26 left. 26 left. So you can see save is the first waypoint on the approach. So if we're not vectored by the time we hit PEMSU, I'll connect save to PEMSU. We can go directly from the procedure to the approach. I would love it if, now again, we can't deviate from the procedure unless instructed, but I would love it if we got a direct from Obvin to PEMSU. The airport should be right out here in this area. So we're going to turn right, and set up for a long downwind coming in from the right to the left. And I can just barely make out Vancouver Airport right there. Notice how at a lower speed, we're much more able to follow our ground track. The next altitude restriction is at Pemsu. We need to be above 3,000 feet at Pemsu. Looks like we're going to easily accomplish that. And notice,
415, turn right, fly heading at 150.
because of that vector,
for
there's the line, there's no line between Pemsu and Saved. There won't be a line there until we establish it. Now we're on our way to Pemsu. And we haven't been given a vector, so I'm going to go ahead and close that gap by selecting Saved and then putting it right over the vector spot and execute. Let's go to flaps 1. And we need some help slowing down. There's flaps 1. Gear down.
Clear for ILS approach runway 26 left, contact tower on 118.7. Enjoy your afternoon.
Descend via the Duction 5 arrival with the Duction transition to 3,000 feet altimeter 3014 cleared for ILS approach runway 26 left tower on 118.7 Alaska 43.
We got a clearance to 3,000 feet.
Naval some 5.
Tower Alaska 43 inbound for ILS approach runway 26 left.
Let's go to flaps 2.
Alaska 43, good afternoon. Radar contact. Continue ILS to runway 26 left, call when established on final.
Continue ILS to runway 26 left, will call when established on final Alaska 43.
14, descend to 6,000. With 6,000, Maple 7514.
Flaps 5. Let's go into localizer and approach mode. Let's go to dual autopilot, flaps 15. Move our range in. Flaps 20. Flaps 25. Flaps 30. flaps 40. We're at full flaps. We are in landing configuration. We have localizer capture. We're coming in from below the glide slope. We're at reference speed. Adding a little bit of speed brakes. As the computer says, drag is required to get us down to reference speed. Now we can leave the speed brakes in the armed position. Auto brakes are to 3, speed brakes are to arm, landing gear handle is down. Parking brake is off. Landing environment is in sight. Want to level out at 1500 and capture that glide slope. Seven miles DME from runway threshold. Whoa, little kick of wind. Welcome to Vancouver, folks. You know, having the airport right on the water is great for noise abatement. Sometimes you can get some haze and low clouds.
119, call to VT16. Affirmative.
And we are in command auto land. Glide slope is captured.
Alaska 43 winds a 236 at 19 knots, clear to land runway 26 left.
Clear to land runway 26 left, Alaska 43.
Johnny ready on the
500.
reversers.
Four 400. Approaching minimums. 200.
Continue.
Minimums.
Continue.
100.
Ready on the rudder.
40. 30. 20. 10.
Alaska 43 exit runway when able.
Off of the reversers. Auto brake off. Let's get off the runway. Come on. Let's get off the runway. Runway lights off. APU on. Ground could igniters to off. Flaps up. Spoilers de-armed. We can stop the clock. 22 minutes. Vancouver Tower, Alaska 43, requests taxi to gate.
Alaska 43 contact Vancouver ground on 121.7 for taxi clearance.
Ground on 121.7 for taxi clearance. Alaska 43.
Vancouver ground, Alaska 43, request taxi to the gate.
Alaska 43 taxi to gate 4 via taxiways, Echo.
Taxi to gate 4 via taxiways Echo, Alaska 43.
Well, I have no idea where gate number 4 is. So I'm not gonna... There's 12. There's 13, 14. Looks like we're going in the wrong direction for gate number 4. I don't think anyone will be too upset if I take gate number 16 up here. I won't tell if you don't.
Ground test 32, hold Bravo 1.
Can't take gate
Jazz
16.
22, thanks, turn left Alpha Kilo and apron 2227.
There's an
Left
aircraft
Alpha Kilo
parked
and,
at 16.
2227.
Ha, how embarrassing. I almost parked in front of a little de Havilland. There's a de Havilland Dash 8 parked at 16. So we'll take gate 18 over here. I believe that's a 77. No, I'm sorry, it's not a 777. I was going to say it's 777 because of its 3-carriage landing gear. I can't really see the landing gear, but I noticed it's a 4-engine plane. So if it's a 4-engine plane, it's not a 777. Oh, didn't mean to stop. Sorry about that. That's a takeoff configuration warning because I kicked the speed up and I wasn't ready for takeoff. 573777, right there. Okay. We are stopped. Parking brake on. get on the bus. We are on the bus. Parking brake on. I don't know what that alarm is for, but we can shut the engines off. Shocks are on, ground power is on. What is making that noise?
And 547, taxi right turn on Alpha, hold short of Tango. Right turn Alpha, hold short Tango, yes,
I don't know what that noise is. Veto heat is off, window heat is off, hydraulics are off, dual bleed is on, yaw damper is off, lights are off. APU is off to ground power. On ground power. Don't know what that alarm is. Request water, request laboratory, request maintenance, no fuel truck. Request forward loader, request carts, rear loader, carts. Target is 0. Previous page. Target is 0. Target is 0. Don't know what that noise is. Brakes are on, APU is on. Well, folks, that noise is getting irritating to me, so I'm going to end the recording and end the flight. And I will secure the aircraft on my own. Hope you enjoyed your time coming to Vancouver.